Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Lacavelli, and this is Live's Oregon channel on YouTube. Once again, we got a great friend of mine, a great leader in the fandomship of Oregon. Y'all already know who it is, man. Y'all should. No further ado. You go ahead.
What's going on? It's your boy BStro. You see me on Twitter, Instagram, repping the O, of course. Got to link up with my bro Lacavelli, of course, and bring you some more of that great duck content, right? So, this is his show, and I'm just a guest, so I'm gonna let him get back to doing what he do.
Yes, sir. So, like always, nothing biased. We try to break things down in depth. I know everybody got an opinion, but when having an opinion, you just can't say this person should start and just that's it. Like the people I like being around and talking to about Oregon football as a general, they know a lot and they really can tell you a lot. So this episode here, we got BStro breaking it down and tell y'all a lot because the depth chart dropped. A lot of people, I don't know, man. So let's go ahead and get into the episode, man. First off, we're gonna start with this defense. Go ahead and take us away, man. How you feeling about this defense?
Man, I'm excited about this defense because it's a lot of talent infused, young talent. For Ware Hudson, it may say, redshirt freshman next to his name on the depth chart, but he's been in Oregon for 3 years now. He was on the team, with the 2019 squad that won the Rose Bowl with Herbert. So was Brandon Dorless. So was Christian Williams. I think Popo was there around that time too, So we got, players on the depth chart and D-line, that's been there for about 3 years. You bring in a Jason Jones, a talented young man who, worked hard to get the proper, balance of weight and the ability to play. Defensive line is going to be nice. Our linebacker room, of course, everybody's happy to see, what Sewell and Flo's going to be able to bring to the table. I'm interested to see what, Navarre, if Navarre gets a shot or Adrian Jackson, man. I mean, Adrian Jackson, dude had a tumultuous, and I wouldn't say tumultuous, but he had a injury-ridden last 2 years, man, and it's glad to see him back. Hopefully he's healthy, stays healthy, and makes some plays, man. Secondary is very interesting. The Manning Bridges, duo. I mean, both can play, man. Both are athletic. So, I mean, either way it go, you can't lose. One's going to get the start. One's going to, get the next round. I mean, honestly, this depth chart for a lot of people had to understand is it's the first game of the season.
Right.
They're putting them out there to play, see who's going to make plays now and see who, is ready for the next week because the next week is the big test for us. So it's a lot of movement that can be made between this week and next week. That's the beauty of it.
Not only with just this week, do you feel like it's still going to be, how can I say it? Like it's an audition in the sense of everything really not set in stone just because how it's 1A, 1B, like just with Bridges and Manning, like you just spoke of. Not only that, with James and Hill coming back, do you feel like it's every week the depth chart definitely going to be like flip-flopping every week?
Well, I think because of the beautiful dynamic of our defense is because our defense is going to be multiple.
Yeah.
Our defense can look like we're in a four down lineman with a nickel out there, nickel corner, or we could be in that same formation, but instead of it being Bennett, it could be Bridges or it can be Manning. You could put both of them out there, and still have Mike Hill right out there. So you can't go wrong in the sense of what we call in the personnels we can mix and match.
Right.
That's why you recruit this type of talent. That's why you have a school like Bama is able to plug and play players that's been around because they've played in certain situations, certain downs. They still got tick on the field. It may not have been, a consistent 20 plays a game, but they might have played 15 games against Texas A&M and about 7 plays against Florida and about 10 plays against Georgia. And then the next week against Tennessee, they play in 20 snaps because Tennessee trying to air their mug out. So you never know. Depending on the scheme of your game plan of the week, it can change. But at the same time, it can change without, even showing you on an organizational depth chart. This is just to give people a glimpse of what to expect. It could be certain packages, man, that we don't even know about. Hell, the first play of the game, it says Drew Mathis or Justin Flo. Drew Mathis and Noah could be out at the same time. We don't know, just depending on the package.
Right. So next question for you, I had 2 of them. If you was the head coach, right, you put yourself in that shoes, would you automatically want to put like your heavy hitters? You want to show all your schemes, all your packages right away first game?
This situation, I'm kind of thinking that is not the case.
Yeah.
It's more so of saying, okay, I know who my heavy hitters are,
right?
But I also have a lot of young talent that I'm cultivating or trying to get to play at that next level. So we gonna see what they got this week against Fresno State, because next week Ohio State, right. we finna put the heavy hitters in. If you can give my heavy hitter, a spare 10 plays to where they can catch their breath, get some water, and not catch a cramp, and we don't have any dip in our play, let's go.
Right.
Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, it don't matter. Like, it's not an audition, but this is more so of a game plan and an understanding of what you're trying to take from this week and what you've done from camp all the way into the next week, what you're trying to accomplish and beat Ohio State at home.
Right.
That's the first major. Beat Fresno State is 1-0. That is understood. That is first, stepping stone. 2, game plan to beat Ohio State, execute, beat Ohio State. After Ohio State, you worry about conference. After Ohio State, we got Stony Brook. So right now, our first 2 hills, our first main hill is Ohio State. Mm-hmm. The other hill is Fresno, but Fresno's is not that as high and as steep. Like it's Fresno. Right. We got players on our squad that's not even looked at Fresno as a major, they may have had landed a 4-star or 2 or 3 or 4, and that's fine and dandy, the development over there. They got dudes in the pros. I'm not knocking their development.
Right.
But in the sense of what we're building and what we've established and everything that we've done, the reason I'm quiet on Twitter, especially this offseason so much, is because it's a lot of unknown.
Yeah.
But my feeling is that optimism. I have optimism within that unknown. When people say fear the unknown, I have an optimism that this team can be way better than people expect, because they have expectations of a fall off. But you have people that have been there already and understand the work ethic and the grinding the mentality.
Right.
And then you have other people that buy in, and all you got to do is have the right play callers in the right place and let them do their thing. And Mario's taking a Nick Saban approach to it. He touches O-line, but he still does the whole team.
Yeah, definitely.
Come Saturday, he's the top of it's an entire pyramid. Under Mario is his offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and under them, your position coaches and what you're trying to call and what you want to call, and your game plan is established and developed with your coordinators and your head coach. If right. Mario come in there with Jim, Moorhead and say, hey, I want to run the ball 70% of the time, which means I'm going to piss fans off and run halfback dive till Travis dive, until CJ Riddell can't halfback dive and the Garden Center can't push forward no more and they toes bleed, you going to run a halfback dive. Why? Because that's what the coach wants.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's what I try to get people to understand with Marcus Arroyo. Like, people like Arroyo fan. Arroyo, this was his first time as a full-time offensive coordinator in an offense that him, Mario, and they brought in BStro because he helped create the pistol formation in offense at Nevada. They brought him in, but they tried to push, put their Mario offensive line tweak on it and be more of a downhill running team, just like Bama. Yeah. Bama's done the one, downhill running since they've had Mark Ingram, one back formation. If you play NCAA and you go back to Bama's offense, go look at their offensive playbook, and their offensive style is a one-back formation. They may have lined up in some offset eye or anything else, but there's a style and there's a mentality to
it. Agreed.
And
for me, honestly, just still talking about defense, is a game plan for every game, you know what I'm saying? And it's different ways you have to game plan with different players. And I feel like we're at a level where this depth chart we seeing right now, I want to say it's set in stone. That's why I asked you in the beginning, because I feel like you're going to see different things and different schemes, and a lot of people just jump straight into it. Like, oh, this person started. I told you this person was going to start and this and that. But it's like, come on, man. But next thing I wanted to ask you was depth. I see a lot of like fans, they would say that we don't have depth. So in my head, it was like you said with Ware Hudson, he's been there for a while. He got a lot of mental reps. You know what I'm saying? Last video I was talking about. Some kids don't have physical reps where they haven't started for the first 2 years, but they get a lot of mental reps. So when they actually do get in, they do good. So would you say that we have depth now to where if a guy that's been a starter for 2 years or a freshman get in or a redshirt freshman get in, do you feel like you're comfortable as a fan to see them and know that they'll do good?
Ware Hudson, he asked him, Christian Williams, and Brandon Dorlus all played against Washington at Washington in 2019.
Right.
I noticed that. I noticed all three defense because I was happy about the defensive line. I was happy about those three coming in, along with Kayvon. Kayvon, at that point in time had been playing a lot anyway.
Right.
But they already have the reps, not even just the mental. They've actually been out there and played in game situation and played game downs. So they know what to expect. It's now that they've been there and they've had the opportunity to have a full offseason now, and they've had the opportunity to get their workout in and an understanding of, okay, I'm grinding on another level because I'm looked at to output more now. My output has changed. When people look at, development and when you talk about players coming in, a lot of players that go to Bama don't come in starting right away.
Agreed.
Bam. I know JoJo Early's uncle, and he is getting looked at to start in his first game against Miami. I don't know if that's broke yet. I don't know if they dropped the organizational depth chart yet. This is coming from his uncle. He's been running with first team in the scrimmages. So you have to be good to start at Bama, especially at receiver. Right. Coming in as a true freshman All-American. You got to be good to come in at Bama to, touch the field as a freshman cornerback or a freshman D lineman or a freshman linebacker. Go look at Bama's defense. They got dudes that play as freshmen, but they don't start. If they do, they got to be just as good as homeboy at LSU that's playing at corner. Like, you got to be good as Stingley to be able to start as a freshman at Bama. If not, it's going to be a sophomore or a junior or a senior because they've been there. They've had time to understand the playbook. They've had time to get their full offseason workout in and conditioning in their strength program, and they have that ability to hit that next gear and the next level and to be able to output more, and especially in Bama because Bama rotates a lot of players.
Right. So
you just got to give me maximum output for 10 plays, maximum output for 15 plays, and we Gucci. Like, that's the beauty of having a Jason Jones. We may not have seen him play yet, but because he's been there, through the pandemic season, and the other players have been there through the pandemic season, and a lot of them didn't touch the field the last 2 years. That's fine and dandy. They've been there. Traven May, a guy that comes to mind, has been there just as long as Ware Hudson and Dorlus knew. Like, you got guys like that. Traven Mays would put on, they said, another 20, 30 pounds. He's at 268. Like, dude's playing good at 268. When he came in, it was 240, 245. And that's a kind of a Cyrus Moss body build because he's coming from Bishop Gorman.
Yeah.
And that's where Traven May came from. Like, connect the dots in the way it sounds and the way it goes. Like, it's a beautiful process when you look at recruiting and the game plan and what they're trying to do and how they're establishing it. Like, all you can do is have optimism inside with enthusiasm because you know what the coaches want to do. They want to win the national championship. It's just the first game comes Saturday, and they play Fresno State. And that's the first speed bump before we try to hit this highway to Ohio State, and we trying to, tear Columbus down, bro. Like, we trying to take Columbus over.
Yes, sir. I agree.
Like, I think it's gonna be way better than what people expect, especially for the Duck fans, because this is the style of play. Like, when we finna go to offense, right? We finna talk offense, right?
Yep.
Okay, so let me dive into this, bro. So when people understand, like, I appreciate Chip Kelly. I will always appreciate Chip Kelly. I will always appreciate Coach Bellotti for bringing Chip Kelly in because Chip Kelly and Dennis Dixon is the reason I became a Duck fan in 07. Hard Duck fan. I knew about Joey Harrington, Ontario Smith. I tell everybody I knew about them, but I didn't become a Duck fan until Dennis Dixon 07 with Chip Kelly in the offense. So Chip laid the foundation for that style of play that changed the way football is played now. Because of Chip, you wouldn't have the way football is played now in college, which is lovely. Mm-hmm. But when you play football against Alabama, when you play football against Georgia, LSU, Clemson, who else? When Florida State won a national championship, you have to have an offensive line and a defensive line. When have you ever seen the air raid offense win a national championship or make it to a national championship game?
Can't think of that.
People will say LSU with Joe Burrow, but the thing is, they still had 1,000-yard rusher and they still ran the ball with.
True, yeah.
So it's not considered. It's not even that. It's you have to have a balance. You have to be. Saban found that out playing Georgia when he realized he couldn't do it with Herschel just running the ball. He had to put a quarterback in there that can throw the ball, and they start slinging them all over the place with Tua. He had to evolve his offense because before that,
too, the running back in front of him wasn't getting it done too, so they threw Najee in as well too.
Yeah, like you got to make those moves. You got to make those adjustments. You got to say, okay, I got to change this and tweak this a little bit because I want to be able to beat this team over here. Mm-hmm. Like for years, Saban was winning national championships, just running the ball down teams' throats. They running for 200, 300 yards in the national championship game with Eddie Lacy and them against Notre Dame and against Texas with Mark Ingram after he won the Heisman. Those games were won by running backs.
I agree.
Like,
yeah, I agree.
Just being 100. Like, those games were won by running backs and great defense. Period.
It's true.
Offensive line coach, Mario was there for 4 years. He learned that from Saban. But what Mario also understood is, okay, I have to infuse what is some of Oregon's style into what I'm also wanting to do now. And that's run the ball downhill, hit you in your mouth, like my man's Marshawn Lynch say, I'm going to keep hitting you into your face until you blink, until you flinch, until you cave. And when you cave, I know I won. And that means I get victory. And it means I'm on to the next round, bro. So at the same time, he's bringing that. He's got Moorhead, which I'm happy because I was the first person on Twitter to advocate for Moorhead. And Mario personally follows me. That's what a lot of people don't know because I don't gloat about it. But Mario personally follows me on Twitter. And so when I said Moorhead and I said Mario, like it's a perfect marriage because Moorhead adapted his offense to what Mario wants.
Right.
It's still going to have some pistol elements. It's still going to have some shotgun because that's what Oregon was, shotgun and flashy. But we're also going to run the ball downhill because we have two good running backs that are upperclassmen. Let them get their last go-round in. Let them get their film. Let them get their looks from the scouts for these next 12, 13 games so they can go ahead and go to the next round because everybody's ready for the younger running backs to come in. Trust me, everybody's ready for this. Everybody's wanting this. But at the same time, you don't want to rush this.
Right.
Benson's trying to come back from a torn ACL. Dollars is trying to come back from a torn ACL. You just got Caldwell. Let Caldwell get the run with the veterans while, and let Seven McGee get moved around in the offense. Mm-hmm. Save Dollars and save Benson. Because I'm going to run the hell out them two next year. Yeah. What? Fam, when I say next year's offense, honestly, fam, to me, I will put Ashford in next year with Benson and Dollars in the split back formation. And we going to go, you talk about Chip Kelly, we finna go back to them 2010 and 2011 split back triple option formations, and we finna get these squads tired of us running the ball. Like, we want to run the ball, but we finna incorporate this, and I'm finna let my quarterback and my two running backs eat all day, and I got three receivers. If I want to throw tight ends in there, different formations, you can do that. That's the beauty of it. That's why we got 6 tight ends we can play right now and come out in a four tight end formation and stand for somebody in a spread formation with 4 tight ends. We can come out with 5 wide receivers because we got 6 or 7 to 8, 9, 10 wide receivers that can go out there and run routes and get some separation. We got 5 to 7 running backs we can play. I want to see Patton. I want to see Cross Patton get in the game, bro. Like, his dad go hard for him. I want to see him at least get 2 snaps in Austin. That for me right there is enough. Really? Like, seriously. But I mean, as far as the depth chart with the offense, fam, I'm happy to see Troy Franklin get a start. I'm not disappointed about Devin Williams. Why? Because this isn't the week we really need Devin Williams.
Right.
And next week, like, fam, it's a method to Mario's madness, and sometimes people just got to shut up and people just got to let the man coach and let the staff coach, bro. That's what they're getting paid to do. Like, we all want Oregon to win. We want to see Oregon put up massive numbers. We want to see Oregon smack somebody in the mouth and shut another offense down because we got the talent on defense now.
That's true.
Yeah. Like, it's just they got to let the coaches, man, sometimes do what they do, bro. Like, we don't need to show our hand to Ohio State the first game. Like, honestly, we can come out and run 10 to 15, maybe 20 of our basic plays because I'm sure our offense, people got to understand Moorhead's offense is probably his playbook is probably about 300 plays.
Oh yeah, agreed.
Like he can run all 300 plays probably from multiple formations.
Same play you do formations, you can.
So like, because you sometimes when people say window dressing, it's more so of make you think at the same time you're trying to move.
Right.
And sometimes people can't think and move at the same time, especially when stuff is rapid fire. So if I'm giving you a trips formation with a tight end to the left side and I run this play, then I go to the line of scrimmage and I can call the exact same play, but instead of calling it out of this same trips formation, now I got a 2x2 set.
Mm-hmm.
So the dynamic changes for the defense because the dressing is they have to account for it being a more balanced set because it's two receivers on each side. You know, okay, they can pass. What are they doing? Run the same exact play, just a different look to it.
Right.
So, but I'm happy Troy gets that start, bro. I'm happy my man Johnny's getting the start. It's gonna be interesting to see, who comes out, Michael or Jalen. And then of course my man DJ. Oh man, look, I hope that dude gets so much burn, bro, at tight end because, like, I like our tight end room. Spencer Webb is a beast. I think Matavo and Ferguson is gonna be some beasts. I'm happy Cam's back. But from what I saw out of DJ Johnson last year, after switching over to tight end, amid a pandemic, a man ran a 4.5 40 at Miami, going into Miami to play DN, and he was 270 then.
Yeah.
This man is a 273-pound tight end. I don't know if he's 273. I think he might be around 260 because I know he was losing weight last year.
I believe so too.
So he's 260, and if he's not just as fast, he might be a little bit faster. So think of what's my man Moyaki that was at Penn State and then played for the Dolphins now. Is it Moyaki? I think it is Moyaki. It's Moyaki. No, Gesicki. Mike Gesicki. Yeah, that's what it's Gesicki. Yeah. But think of Gesicki at Penn State, but faster, like ridiculously faster. So right. And his Moorhead offense tight ends love it, because of the RPO. So it's gonna be interesting, bro, to see how it works out. The O-line situation is gonna play itself out because they're gonna play the best O-line players and they're gonna play who's hot. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much gonna be the same thing with the entire offense. Is if you're hot, you're gonna get play. If you block, you're gonna get the ball. Unless you're in the O-line, you need to keep blocking. But we love you, O-lineman, for sure, always and forever.
Sure.
But is too many weapons for a team to just key in on one player. And you have a player in a position such as Anthony Brown. This is where I dive into the long-awaited Spitfire because, fam, Twitter and social media has been ablaze over this debacle, over this debates for weeks. And fam, I've always been a person of trusting the coaches.
Right.
We got a coach who's won a national championship. He's been around players who competed at a high level. So he's seen elite players before. This is nothing new to him. The players around them have seen elite players before. You have players speaking on the person's behalf. You may have some people who are behind the scenes saying what they see and what they believe, and that's fine and dandy, fam. But at the end of the day, it's the person who has a job title called head coach. Exactly. The person's job title called offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, and all them other offensive coordinators, coaches, and analysts on that staff, fam. If they say this man is the starter, that's who I'm rocking with. If they come out next Monday and say they starting tie against Ohio State, hey, buckle the fuck up. Excuse my French. You can beat me out if you want to, fam. Hey, we gonna be on a roller coaster ride because, fam, a freshman quarterback. Not every freshman quarterback is going to come into a Trevor Lawrence, Clemson situation. This was Clemson on the year 2 out of 3. They were playing for the national championship because the year before is Kelly Bryant lost.
Yep.
And the year before that is when Deshaun Watson won it.
Mm-hmm.
So the team that Kelly Bryant had wasn't a bad team. It was just the offense was not in sync. For some reason, the offense didn't click. He didn't fit. They get Trevor Lawrence, got a little bit of momentum. Kelly Bryant did start those games, but after he got hurt, Trevor Lawrence got the spot, never gave it up. But Trevor Lawrence didn't come in and start right away.
Yeah.
Neither did Justin Fields. Bryce Young didn't start right away at Bama. Tua didn't start right away at Bama.
Great.
People, I get the hype. I get the, fascination with 5 stars. I love it. I got into the recruitment understanding it huge because I love 5 stars too because they're anomalies. They're the top tier of elite athletes. But at the same time, fam, they have to learn just like the next person, especially at quarterback, especially in an offense that may sound simple, but our offense is going to be way more complex. Like when I tell people the difference in this offense and what we've seen before is because, or even the difference between this offense and what you will see with Gus Malzahn is because our offense will have an intermediate passing game.
Right.
Which means if our quarterback needs to sit back in the pocket and go through 1, 2, 3, 4 in a progression and maybe even got time to go back to 2 or to 1 because the offensive line is blocking perfectly, that is the beauty of it because you have the opportunity to move the ball passing and you don't always have to take the deep shot. People love big plays. What they say, offense puts fans in the stands and defense wins championships.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. It's true. You may have a high-scoring game, but at some point in time, defense had to step up and make a play, right?
Yeah.
Tom Brady didn't win them Super Bowls without defense. He may have drove the field, and Vinatieri may have kicked the game-winning field goal against the Panthers or the Rams, but that defense had to stop somebody.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that there's a dynamic to this. And the quarterback is a 6-year senior. Dude has game plan experience. He played at a school such as Boston College. I've seen Boston College in person. The last time I seen Boston College in person, Matthias Kiwanuka played for them, and Justin Tuck played for Notre Dame. Both ended up on the Giants and both got Super Bowl rings. Boston College does put players in the NFL.
All right, that's true.
Not so much a quarterback since Matt Ryan because you got to look at the coach in the system. And when I tell people a lot of these quarterbacks just going to schools because of tradition or history, if you're trying to get to the NFL, fam, you may got to take a shot on going to this school over here at Northwestern. If their offense is a spread offense and they're trying to showcase their quarterback, why not go be the first who at this school?
Agreed.
Like, if I'm a 5-star quarterback right now, fam, hell, why not go to Iowa State? Spread offense, they run the ball, they throw the ball. I can run the ball, I can throw the ball. Why not go to Missouri? Chase Daniels, Blaine Gabbert. You got systems in place. Hell, Illinois might need a 5-star quarterback. We know Michigan need one. After all the ones they done got and ran off, it's so many places, and people talk about they want to win. If you want to win, hey, come over here, start something new. You want to blaze your own trail? Why not go to Arizona? They got a pro-laden coach. But Anthony Brown went to Boston College after he was recruited by a couple D1 schools, Northwestern, Wake Forest, to name a couple. Chose Boston College, did what he had to do at Boston College, had a couple of unfortunate injuries, and he lost his position. He lost his position. Why? One, because the quarterback that transferred in was the backup quarterback at Notre Dame. And the kid that was the backup at Notre Dame was actually a highly rated 4-star quarterback named Phil. I can't say his last name, but it started with a J, and he got an A in there, and he's from Philly, but he's from Philadelphia. He was like 6'6". He
Damn.
was the one that had Boston College beating. Remember last year when Clemson was giving Boston College was giving Clemson the problem?
Yeah, I remember that.
He was the quarterback for them.
Oh, okay.
That was the quarterback. That's the transfer from Notre Dame. Like, so Brown was hurt. Transfer from Notre Dame comes in. An entirely new coaching staff comes in. They change up the entire offense. He enters the transfer portal. I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah, that's true.
Comes into Oregon expecting to compete for the, starting job. No spring ball. Why? Because of COVID. Then you don't know if there's going to be a season because they said no season. Then you have all of these virtual meetings. Virtual meetings and getting to run routes and throw the ball with your receivers is not the same thing.
It's not. It's not.
Going over your plays and watching Venn diagrams and running these plays and getting mental and physical reps is not the same thing.
Same.
So when you say, okay, we want to run a play where my front side, Johnny gonna run the post, my backside, Jalen slot dude is gonna run the bubble, my far outside, my split end is gonna run a go route, and I want my tight end to run a drag. I can call that simple as day. That's a play I just called from Madden.
Yeah.
like a straight up, and it's gonna be a play like the play action. Like I just called a play from Madden, but if it's a play in the playbook and we're gonna run it with a certain protection, or there's gonna be some motion to it, or we might change it at the line of scrimmage because we got these things tied into it. Those are nuances, fan, that people got to pick up and understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's people make it more complex than it is, but it's still football, and you still want to be able to say, okay, I trust this player and he has comfortability to run this offense to the fullest of his ability without mistakes or errors. So when a coach makes you run this play 10 times in practice because he wants to make sure that instead of it being 5 times out of 10 that you run it right, he wants to make sure that you can run it 8 to 9 to 10 times right with no mistakes. If I say we're going to have this play center left and my right guard pulls left, he know what to do and he know who he's looking for because y'all made the right calls along the line of scrimmage, along the offensive line, and my quarterback knows that everybody's on the same page. So we all are ready and anxious to see what the young quarterbacks bring to the table. And it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But right now, we ride with Anthony Brown. If things don't go our way, in the time comes and we play whoever plays, bro. Honestly, if I'm Mario and the things don't go our way and we somehow bottom out this season, bro, I'll play all 3 of them. We're going to play all 3 of you. We're going to play all 3 of you. We're going to get game experience now. Why? Because at the end of the day, by the time this season is over with, for some reason, I've noticed when we have a quarterback that leaves and goes pro, or we have a quarterback that was really good and they leave, the next year, when we have a quarterback situation, by the end of this season, we have our starting quarterback going into the next season.
Right.
So it's a matter of time, man. I mean, everybody's anxious to see what happens. People have said he can't pass the ball. People have said he's inaccurate. People have said he's not this. People have said he's not that. People said he's going to be secure with the ball and not take shots. We don't know until they get out there on their field on Saturday and Moorhead calls a play. And if they say, hey, we're going to call this play because we think they ain't cover 2-man and they not in cover 2-man and they blitz, and that receiver just gasses by the dude and he throws that ball and he catch it. Hey. Or if he throw the ball and it just misses the fingertips, bro, I can't be mad at that, bro. He took the shot. That's what y'all want. You want that big play, Sometimes you got to move the ball 5 yards. Sometimes you got to move the ball 10 yards at a time. Eventually, the big play will open up. If you keep getting the 5 and 10 yards, you're making them adjust. And when they adjust, sometimes a lot of people overcorrect. So, got to work the offense, man.
Yeah, that's a good point. Just it being Fresno State, you still gonna have naysayers and doubters say like, "Oh, it's Fresno State. That's why he did good." But it's just like, in the day, a W is hard to come by. That's something I learned in life, especially with football. No matter who,
Yeah,
it's still hard to come by because upsets do happen and stuff as well.
damn, they D1 for a reason, bro. Like Fresno State ain't bums. They not Division II, fam. Like they're not Division III. They Fresno State. Like people talk about, Reggie Bush. The highlight where he put the ball behind his back was against Fresno State, and they still was almost going to lose that game if it wasn't for that play.
Yeah, and it's
Like,
something, not to cut y'all, but it's something I saw from a few people. I done got into a few people about the Ohio State game where people said we're gonna go into Columbus and lose, but the same ones who said that after seeing what Fresno State did to UConn, they was like, "Oh, we can't overlook Fresno State. They can come upset us at our home." But yet you don't use that same logic with Oregon going to Columbus. But that's another story. The last question I did have for you, just overall with the team, with football in general, you got a team that's either rebuilding, you got a team that's searching for identity, or you got a team that's on the brink of making to a national championship. How do you feel out of those three? What do you think? Where you think we at?
I think it's the latter of the three, honestly, fam. Like quarterback play and secondary play is our big question. And getting pressure on the quarterback.
Right.
Those are our three biggest questions. And we find out soon, like really soon. I play Fresno State. Just go out and execute these 20 plays to perfection. We're going to mix them in. We might throw in another 10 if we're feeling good about ourselves. But, the next week, we finna open this mug up. When I say open up, we finna look at 100, 150 different plays. Ohio State don't know what's finna hit them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people have the expectation of making it to the playoff this year. Imagine if you start a freshman quarterback in the first two games, your freshman quarterback loses. I'm not wishing anything bad on the quarterback, but he's a freshman. And he's going into his first game at home against a Division I team, and he's never seen the Division I defense before. Yeah, he's a 5-star. Yeah, he's a 4-star, but what can he do for me right now in this offense? It's
right.
RPO. Like, I need you to make a lot of split decisions now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, North Carolina, they had Howell. Even with Howell, he had his, freshman mistakes. So, I mean, every quarterback is going to make freshman mistakes. Fields made freshman mistakes. Lawrence made freshman mistakes. Lawrence just happened to be on the best team in college football because the defensive line wouldn't let quarterbacks get comfortable in the pocket.
Sure.
Like, they stopping the run. They had 5 D linemen go in the first 2-3 rounds of the NFL draft that year.
Yep.
Like, it's hard to say, would they have done that without those players on the team? Because it was literally that team around Lawrence. Lawrence just had to go in and do his job. Put the ball in position to give your players the best chance to make plays. That's it. And that's all we asking Brown to do, And people got to understand the added pressure from social media and everybody high expectations of what you want. And you asking the freshman, fam, remember when everybody crashed on the team in 2018 when we was getting beat at Arizona? Mm-hmm. When we was getting beat at Wazoo, everybody crashing on Twitter, bro.
Yeah.
Like, people,
they also went crazy when VA lost against Michigan State. But now we fast forward today, everybody love VA.
Yeah.
So
and he played Michigan State with a broke thumb, fam.
Yeah.
And made a pass with his left hand. Are you mad at him, bro?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, people got spoiled by Mariota. People got spoiled by Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
And people want to win a national championship, but you got to understand you got to play national championship ball. And you got to have a D-line and you got to have an offensive line. And it takes time to build those things. Look, Nick Saban didn't build Bama in a year. Les Miles had to leave LSU, and Orgeron was just smart enough to get an offensive coordinator in there to open things up for LSU because you getting top quarterbacks and receivers. You just lining up in the formation and trying to run it down Bama's throat when Bama thrives on playing in the box. When you make Bama play in space, you have a better chance of beating Bama because they're in space. You're putting your best player on their best player. It just so happened to be your best player is just as good as their best player, and it's like 7-on-7 now.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's it. So, I mean, honestly, fam, I've been quiet because I've seen people say Oregon's going to lose at Ohio State. I've seen people say Fresno State going to get Oregon a hard time. Fam, it is a lot of unknowns. I'm just optimistic about the unknown on the Ducks side because I believe in their hard work, in their ethic, in what Mario's building, and I believe that they're going in the right direction. If they believe they're going in the right direction and the players are buying in, and these are elite players buying in, fam, what more can you expect?
Agreed.
Like, they haven't played a game yet. It's hype surrounding the team. I know it's hype surrounding the whole situation, and it's lovely. But at the same time, fam, we got to let it play out. Like, we don't know what's going to happen from week 1 to week 2, from week 2 to week 3.
All right.
Shoot, week 1, we go out there, drop 50 on Fresno State. They don't score a damn point. We go to Ohio State, beat them by 2 touchdowns. Like, next week, we play Stony Brook, and we beat Stony Brook by a field goal.
Yeah.
Like, fam, you know, like, and I'm perfectly fine with beating Stony Brook by a field goal. Why? Because we still beat Fresno State, we still beat Ohio State, and we still beat Stony Brook. Now we finna go in the conference undefeated. Win. Just win the game, bro.
The game. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. Now, because we have the talent and the ability to dominate games, dominate these motherfuckers. Excuse my French again. Like, it's just a simple point, fam. Sometimes you got to be straight, narrow, blunt with people so they get the message and they understand, fam. It's not that same. Like, we like the uniforms, we like the flash, fam. And Mario's even understood that he's incorporated pieces of Oregon into what he's trying to do. But he's also trying to show, and he's also trying to put that hard-nosed print on Oregon that it's not that light offensive line, 270-pound, 280-pound offensive lineman. These dudes, 295, 310, 320-pound offensive lineman that's going to lean on your defensive lineman for 4 quarters. My running back going to run all over you. My quarterback going to run and throw on you. And if I want to, I'm going to throw screens left and right, come out in 5 wide formations. Like, it's so many things that they can do.
Right. Agreed.
So we going to see, man, because
before we get out of
people
here,
got chill.
Say it again.
I said people just got to chill.
Oh yeah, they do. Before we break this episode down, you want to give your prediction score of Fresno State game?
Honestly, I will go Fresno State. Ducks 45, Fresno State 17.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. So there you guys have it, man. I appreciate you for coming on the show.
The show.
Spreading your knowledge, going in depth. That's what it's all about, going in depth. If you're going to have your opinion, you know what you're talking about in the day. And a lot of people that's going to watch it, they're going to understand a lot more, especially for the ones who just say certain stuff that be surface level and they don't get anywhere. You see it on Twitter a lot. You got a surface level opinion argue with another surface level opinion. And now I'm learning like you. I'm trying not to chime into stuff no more and get into arguments and not even arguments, debates. And I'm just gonna start leaving that alone, man. So I appreciate you, man. And y'all stay tuned, man. Y'all will see BStro as well. Again, we finna shoot another video that'll be dropping this week as well, too, man. So yeah, appreciate you, dog.
Hey, it's a pleasure, fam. Always, go Ducks.
Yes, sir.